I don't think anyone expected it to happen. I think, and when they first announced it on Facebook, I was one of the people who made jokes about it, like, what's the RSVP policy, like, is it couples only, like, what do we do? But as the day came closer, it seemed to be more serious, and I decided the day of 25th of January to go down anyway and check it out and see what was going to happen. I was just like, let's go down and play with the police a little bit. If there is a lot of people going down, I remember when I went down with 50 people, so let's see what's going to happen this time. And, and it happened. It was insane.
How did you feel?
Great, actually. It was a very alive experience. It's basically you go there in the beginning in Mohandisin and you almost get arrested. And then you get out of Mohandisin, you go to downtown and you almost get arrested. And then you leave downtown back to Mohandisin, you go to the bridge of Gala, where you go there and like you scramble with the police and then it's not going anywhere, so you attempt to go to St. October and everybody follows you, and then you're like, St. October is too far, and you take a boat. And you take the boat all the way to the other side, and by the time you're to the other side, your friends in Tahrir are calling you, like they're telling you where they're being attacked, so by the time you arrive there, you look behind you, find that everybody who went on the bridge is now getting off the bridge, and you have like 5,000 people, so you go there and you like get them all like excited, let's go to Tahrir, they're beating them, let's go beat them, مش عارف ايه, and then you arrive there and the police disperses, and you own the square for the first night, and it was insane. It was so much fun. It ended fear from the police. That's one thing. The other thing, it opened up everything for public questioning. There are no more red lines. It used to be that you couldn't even talk about the army. Now you just like talk about the army and insult the army and do whatever you want. So you won big for freedom of speech. You won big in terms of the public discourse. People now are forced to actually confront the problem instead of claiming that there is no problem and just brushing everything away. More or less, it has opened up Pandora's box, which is a bad thing, in a sense, of course, because the Pandora's box went and spread all the evils everywhere, but then Pandora's box also carried hope. So that's where we are right now. Playing politics is psychotic because you realize very quickly that you are faced with lots of challenges between what you believe in and what you need to do to win. Personally speaking, I went down and I did this campaign in a way that my conscience was very clear about. I lost, but I did not have a single injunction or violation throughout the campaign, which according to my campaign people is a sign that we did a really bad campaign. Because if you have a good campaign, you're supposed to violate the law all the time. But it's interesting because it forced me to reconsider many, many things. It forced me to reconsider concepts that I thought were absolutist. You go out and you say like you're gonna do a campaign about ideas and awareness, and that's good and nice for revolution people, but for regular people it sounds like lots of talk, and they want things to be done for them right now. Which is why in the first elections people were bribed very easily and stuff like that. But the message that we sent out in the first election, which is don't get bribed because people who bribe you end up like stealing more than you can ever imagine, they got this message around the presidential elections. So in that sense it was great. It was a very good experience, because for the first time Egyptians who even in the worst economic conditions and are hungry refused to be bribed, which is a new development in the Egyptian psyche in itself. And it's something that we consider to be very, very positive from now on. All of them were bad. I voted Hamdin Sabahi just because I wanted someone who at least believes in civil rights and civil liberties. But I of course thought his foreign policy and his ideas were horrendous. I didn't think he was very smart. Right now I am invalidating my vote because both candidates are very bad. One of them represents the old regime, the other one represents a new regime that wants to be created. Both of them, voting for either one of them is a crime for the country. So I'm not gonna vote, but I'm not encouraging other people not to vote. I'm telling them that it's an option that they can do. As if they wanna vote, they should vote. It's their right. I think it's gonna depend on the level of hysteria we're gonna see. You know, the fear-mongering and polarization has been very strong so far. And I wonder if it's going to continue. I wonder how it's going to continue, because it's been very exhausting to monitor it so far. We'll see. Why do people asking about Al-Baradei? What has he done? Can someone point me to one thing Al-Baradei has done throughout the past 2 years? It's really a question I always wanted to ask journalists. Why do you care about Al-Baradei so much? What has he done? Baradei really only has a Twitter account. Really, that's his contribution to the revolution so far. I haven't seen anything else. Basically, what we're having right now is that people are getting fed up with the Muslim Brotherhood. I think people, the trick of political Islam no longer works on them. Egyptian people realize that voting for someone who claims to be the advocate of God does not necessarily mean that God will start giving them money and make everything better. And for them, they started looking at the Muslim Brotherhood as people who are just power hungry like everyone else. So I don't think that political Islam really has the chance to capture the majority anymore, just based on rhetoric or polarization or sectarian narrative. I think they're gonna actually, if they want to survive, they have to actually get serious and be serious about their programs and their services, and not just rely on religious narratives and buying votes. Well, the constitution thing was just, they just agreed on the rules of choosing the members yesterday. And SCAF, if you remove SCAF, who's gonna carry the elections? You're gonna do a presidential council, alright, fine. Okay, how long will that take? And how long will it be till the next elections? And what will happen with the rules? And you know, it's one of those things in which the majority of people supported Jan 25 because it called for democracy. But at the same time, I think revolutionaries were not clear about the idea that times of revolution, there is something called revolutionary legitimacy, and therefore you end up doing many things because it's a revolution, you know, that are not exactly democratic. And thus became the mixed narrative. Okay, we call for democracy, but at the same time we want to remove certain people from running, and we want to remove certain people from applying, and for most people it's like, this is not the democracy that you guys were calling for. And it's kind of hard to explain the concept between them. I think from the beginning there should have been a clear distinction between, are we really in a revolution, or are we really just aiming for democracy and that's it? You know, and I think this is the pitfall that everybody fell in. I think at the beginning you definitely needed to just go with revolutionary legitimacy. I don't think you should have demanded, you should have just went and did it. You should have went and stormed state TV, you should have went and stormed this, you should have went and done that. You know, the idea that after you remove Mubarak you're still demanding means you're not in power. You know, and if you have removed Mubarak you should be in power. And it's the mentality of being in the opposition for so long, and they continued being in the opposition, which made it very easy to dismiss them after a while. And it always drove me insane. Just by demographics, the future is ours. You know, Egypt is a country that pops out babies like rabbits, basically. We have a child born every 21 seconds. We have over 2 million people reaching the age of 18 every year, and the supreme majority of them are pro-revolution. At the same time, you're looking at the age of 65 and up. 5% of population is 65 and up, but they control the majority of the country. You know, so within 5 years, they'll be out of the way, regardless of what happens. So I don't think we're going to be facing a problem of being run as a minority anytime soon. Enough in Egypt, I think the best regime would have been a constitutional monarchy. Weird, you know, because it satisfies the need for the people to have a symbol of stability that has no power. I think one of the things about the difference between a monarchy and a republic in a country like ours, where corruption is a culture, is that a monarch at least tries to thinks the country is a reflection of himself and his kids. You know, at the same time, a president is just there for a limited time, and he wants to steal as much as he can while he can and then run away, which you know, it's very strange, isn't it? Yeah, it's something that a lot of people who are working democracy are like, yeah, you know what, constitutional monarchy would have been the best thing for those people specifically. You know, but that's just me. There are many ideologues in the revolution, and many of them claim the revolution was theirs. You know, socialist revolutionaries claim that this was a socialist revolution. Anarchists claim that this was an anarchist revolution. Even people who are liberals claim that this is a liberal revolution, and therefore called for more reforms. You know, so. But when it came down to it, when it came down to choosing the president, you know, you're stuck with so many bad candidates that did not reflect clear ideologies whatsoever. So people ended up voting for the character of the person instead of what they thought. So you end up having socialists voting for an Islamist candidate and liberals voting for an alt-right candidate, which was psychotic, you know, in its own. So I don't think we're doing things by ideology. I don't think it's like French elections until, like, you know, people who are voting for the right wing are this, people voting for the left wing are this. There is no left or right wing. You know, it's too early for this. We're still re-establishing all of this. In jail. Just the same way I answered you 5 years ago. I am bound to go to jail. I don't know. No, I think I just hope that we're not forced into a situation where people leave Egypt. Because I know people who have left because things are messy, and I really don't want them to leave. I think more than any other time, I think good people need to be in Egypt and to actually make it work.